Alright, let's try this again. Sorry about the first time. Hopefully the audio is good, and hopefully you will tell me. Uh, like I said, this is my first time setting it up. I didn't really have anyone but a YouTube uh, help video to help me out here. So sorry about that. It sucks. I hate that. So we're going to give it a minute and see if you can hear me and if you're on and if it works. Alright, let's try this again. Sorry about the first time. Hopefully the audio is good, and hopefully you will tell me. Maybe that works now. Like I said again, I'm going to wait till everyone gets on and see if that works. There is a lag on the video, so just bear with me, folks. I'm so sorry. Gosh, I tried to ask other people if anyone has done a live YouTube event, and none of my friends here have, and they're not very YouTube savvy. They're tech savvy, but they're not YouTube savvy. So we're going to see if that works and see if I have people on. Let me see, it says I am streaming. So let me check a few things, make sure everyone is on. And I set it up there. If you are, like I said, there's a delay. So if I got off a little bit, now I should have that one on. Boy, this is a boring live video if it is. Let's see. Find it. Okay, good. Thank you, Forklifter Matt. You said it sounds good. You probably said that a while ago, but I'm glad you're on. And we may wait for a few more people to get on. This is going to suck as a live video, and I apologize once again. But like I said, I'm going to try to do better next time. Of course, I know the audio may be off. I try to get some better audio by hooking in my mic. Obviously, that created some feedback, so we unplugged that, we restarted it, and did a new one. And I'm assuming no one heard me because there's a lot of, I did get to listen to it just now. It did sound terrible. So let me go ahead and just backtrack on what I said while more people try to catch on. Forklifter Matt, I'm sure, was it hard to find the video live feed? I'm sure you'll tell me in just a few minutes. But anyway, just to kind of go over what we're doing going to do all three votes for the 1,000 subscriber celebration. I'm so happy that everyone voted, and the votes are very close. In fact, the Q&A won by one vote, and on top of that, weekdays won by one vote. And let's see. So because of that, we're doing a weekday one. Now, because weekend just lost by one vote, I'll do one probably next month on a weekend. We'll try that. Also, we're going to do the double post. That's going to be in a couple of weeks, and we're going to do the video podcast got a respectable third. We're going to do that as well, and that's going to be next week. So expect that next week. Double post the week after that, and let me see what else. A little something at the end of the month that I think will be fun. Again, I'm going to go back and talk about a few of the questions I had. One was about digital books. And yes, I like digital books. Obviously, I don't have them. Obviously, I like to make hard copies of them. I have bought e-comics and e-books before, but I prefer to have material stuff on my material stuff in my hand. I like to read it. I like the smell of an old book. So I have nothing against digital stuff. People are like, hey, you know, you could probably fit all this on one tablet. Yes, I do. But anyway, I know I'd like to have it all, and I'm trying to catch up and read your stuff. My ADD is kicking in live. Anyway, no, I like to have all the hard copies of stuff. I do. Even I made hard copies of a lot of you folks have already seen these books, but they're my own collection. Tales from the Galaxy, Book 1 and Book 2. These are my books that I made. They're hardback, and they're just a bunch of hard-to-find books or stuff that was only in e-format. I just went ahead and printed because I like stuff in print. That's me. I'm from the generation where you like stuff in print. Materials like stuff when it's in digital, and I totally understand that. I'm totally fine with that. Now, to answer a few of the other questions I got, someone asked me if I had ever read any of the new Force Awakens or Road to the Force Awakens stuff. No, I have not. Again, that stuff seems like, what should I say, an infinity storyline, meaning it's non-canon, which does not interest me. And I have no problem if anyone reads that, and if you're enjoying it, that's fine. I hear a lot of people aren't enjoying it, and sad to hear that, because what is a new Star Wars fan going to think when they read a book like Aftermath? When Zahn's book first came out, those were the first 3 books of the new wave of stuff that came out. So those were home runs, right? And you could give someone, where do you need to start? Zahn. Where do you start on the new Disney stuff? You want to give them New Dawn? Surely not Aftermath. Lords of the Sith? Rebels? You want to start them off on Rebels? Oh, that'd be awful. Anyway, so no, I'm not interested in it. If you are and you enjoy it, that's great. I have no problem with that. Someone said, what I thought of Episode 9 was, let me see, 100,000 years to a million years in the future. What would I do? Probably nothing, because it's Disney. Now, if it connects to the expanded universe, that's the only way I'm going to be interested in a movie. Remember, folks, to me, these books mean more to me than the actual movies do. And I know some people may say, Matt, that's wrong because it started with movies. Yes, I agree. But the reason I'm such a big fan is because of all of these books here, not because of the movies. Yes, I loved the movies as a kid. Everyone did. Everyone did growing up. Everyone loved Star Wars. But that is not what made me a big fan. I probably, if it wasn't for the books, I'd probably have the movies on my video shelf. I'd watch them, once every 10 years maybe, and I'd really just forget about it. Really, I wouldn't care that much about it. And I doubt I'd go see the new ones in the theaters because I rarely go see movies in the theaters. Nothing interests me anymore in the movie theater. That's sad, isn't it? Unless it's some sappy sequel to something. Although I did enjoy Mad Max Fury Road. But someone drugged me to the theater to watch that. So, again, I probably wouldn't have gone on my own. Anyway, these books are the reason I am a Star Wars fan. Hence, anything surrounding these books, I will go see it. Anything not involving these books, I just simply won't see. Not that I hate them, not that I wish they died. There's some people like baloney, but I'm kidding. Anyway, though, no, I'm happy if anyone else sees it. It's just not for me. All right, so let's get to some of your questions. I see a few of you are on here. You can start asking questions in the comment box. We're going to have this go on for, I don't know, probably an hour or so. I mean, if we run out of questions, then I'll just end it there. Because, as you know, I don't like long videos. I don't like hearing myself talk for more than 7-10 minutes. That's why my videos are generally short. Some of the videos I put out that are 20 minutes long or 30 minutes long, it just aggravates me. I'm thinking, it seems like it drags on forever and ever. But a lot of you folks are like, yeah, I love those videos. Like the one I talked about defending the expanded universe movement and Chuck Wendig. there's just a lot of stuff to say, and I rehearsed that, and I tried to get it down, cut it down as short as I could, but there was so much that needed to be said. And a lot of you were really kind, saying, no, man, I really enjoyed all that. So I appreciate that, and I'm always there to defend the EU or its movement if things go wrong. Let's see. Okay, still no questions have posted yet. So I know there's going to be questions out there. Like I said, if you have one, oh, here we go. What's Yub Nub's favorite brand of bologna? All right. So here we go. Yub Nub, what's your favorite brand? He's heavy. Yub Nub gets some love in a question. I don't know. He likes the bologna, actually. He likes the bologna. He likes me to shake it in front of him because he likes bologna, especially when it moves. Folks, if you don't get that joke, it was on a podcast that we had made the joke that Filoni was saying that he loved the cover of, where is it, Splinter in the Mind's Eye. And he kept talking about how much he really loved that cover. I like that cover. I like that cover. I said, yeah, he loves pictures, especially when they move. And it became a big joke. Anyway, are you going to talk about other sci-fi movies and shows like Doctor Who? Do you know what? I have never seen Doctor Who. And there are a billion people who love Doctor Who. Maybe sometime I will sit down and watch a few. And I don't know where to start. See, someone like me, I would rather start with the old TV show and build all the way through. I know you don't have to do that. You may need to start around whenever they rebooted it. I don't know. But that may be something I may have to try out. Because right now, Doctor Who, I do not know about. Let's see. Another question. What makes Star Wars so special to you? It is the books. Honestly, Forklifter Matt. The books made it special to me. Like I said, I wouldn't have cared as much about Star Wars if it hadn't been for the expanded universe. I'm being honest. I would have loved the movies, thought they were great, but if it hadn't been for the books, I still wouldn't be a fan today. I love the expanded universe. And here's why. Here's what the expanded universe did for us. Okay? It grew up with us. A lot of people, a lot of my friends who read the Bantam books go, oh, these aren't as good. Well, I would say yes, they're probably not as good, but here's the reason why. Back then, Adventures, we had a tolerance of here. This was our goal they had to meet. Well, as the years went on, they said, hey guys, our readers have grown up. We need to grow up with our readers, and hence Del Rey came in and just really lifted the bar. And so that's why Del Rey books are slightly better. But I would argue that the Bantam books are very good. In fact, a lot of my favorite books, and we'll get into them as we go through it. But a lot of them are in the Bantam era because I really, really, really do like those books. But the books are the reason I am a big fan. They grew up with the fans. It was the closest connection I'm going to say that the fans had to the franchise was the expanded universe. All right, now we're getting questions. Let's see. Am I a fan of the Ewok movies? Yes! I can't wait. I'm going to do a review of those two on Matt's Expanded Universe. I'm going to review them both. I freaking love those movies. I grew up watching those movies. My dad taped everything back in the day on an old beta system. That was before VHS. That's how old I am. But he taped it on a beta system, and we watched those movies a million times. A million times. I actually got to meet Mace, the kid, from the Ewok movies, and it was cool to meet him. I picked up a book of his. Don't know what it's called. It's kind of his autobiography. It's not very well written. He wrote it himself, and he really needed an editor because it's really poorly written. It looks like it was self-published too. But the interesting part about it is he talks about a deleted scene that, and by the way, George Lucas did a lot of the reshoots for those movies. So George Lucas really had a big hand in those Ewok movies. But he talks about a deleted scene where he comes across a poisonous flower, which anyone who watched the Ewok movies, by the way, you'll notice that the arm that he gets caught, the tree beast or whatever it is that he gets sucked into and his arm gets hurt, you notice there's a mistake because it's his other arm that's injured, not the arm that went into the tree. And that always bothered me. But that's because they refilmed it. It was originally some kind of flower monster that grabbed this hand. Or left, I can't remember which hand it was, but I think it was this hand, the right hand. And that's why you see the right hand all red and bruised and puffy. and not the left hand, which is what we saw in the new cut, because that old scene got cut and they just didn't re-edit it. But there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about those movies. I really love those movies. I met Tarok from Battle of Endor, and he was really awesome. Extremely tall dude. I mean, we're talking 7 foot tall, super nice guy. His face is like Tarok. It's sunken in with extended cheekbones. I mean, the guy, like I say, kind of looked freaky. He played Lurch in the new Addams Family movies. Well, I say new, back in the 90s. And, oh man, just an incredible guy. But shook his hand. His hand's like this big. His head's this big around. But really super nice guy. And I would love to meet Sindel, the girl who plays Sindel. But I heard that Eric, the guy who played Mace Windu, told me that she doesn't do shows anymore because the one time she went, no one really knew who she was. No one came by her table, and she was kind of, one of those stars that came out to meet fans, but there weren't any fans to meet. And he said that was a very bad con because that was like a Halloween con or horror con, and there were horror fans there. And Ewoks weren't really that. It was just a bad matchup. And he hopes that she'll do another one. I hope she'll do another one because I would love to get her autograph. But yes, love the Ewok movies. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? Troy. Oh, hi, Troy. Let's see. Yeah, Filoni is a canon offender. Catching up on all your comments and questions here. Let's see. Why don't I like Clone Wars? That's a fair question. I like Clone Wars fine. Like I said, I think it's 50-50. But one of the real reasons, Mega Salty Chips, by the way, I love that screen name. One of the real reasons why I do not like it is because it didn't adhere to the expanded universe as it should have. There's a lot of carelessness thrown around the storyline. Some of the story plots were very, very bad. Like I said, it's flip a coin. If they would have done the Clone Wars and focused on just the clones, I would have loved that series. Okay, you hear me? When they just focused on the clones, those series were awesome. I know I kind of bash the Clone Wars a lot, but honestly, a good 50% of that was really good. I'm talking really good. And the other percent of it was maybe a waste of my time or just total garbage. Like I said in my video, C-3PO and R2-D2 story, going to find fruit on Padme's cake. I know that's not the total premise, but that's what happens when they get in a hilarious thing with Cad Bane. And I know it's for kids. I know it is. But stories like that just bang my head against the wall. And like I said, by the end of it, the last 2 seasons, it just drug on for me. It was a chore to watch that series, which hurts me because I was a big Star Wars fan. But it was just like, more garbage, and I'd sit there and just play on my computer as it played as background noise. I didn't really like a lot of the last few seasons, but anything dealing with the Clone War, the clones themselves, I thought was really good, and I thought they should have focused on that. But there's way too much. That's another thing. They packed in way too much action within the Clone Wars if you count that and all the stuff from the expanded universe. But okay, let's see. Next question. My favorite EU character. Okay, let's see. Next question. My favorite EU character is Kip Duran. I've answered that before. I love Kip Duran. Favorite character by far. EU character. Andrew said he tried to watch Doctor Who but couldn't. Not a fan. I just don't have the time, Andrew. Let's see. So I can start with season 5. Okay. Let me see. 3 favorite EU characters. Add on to that. Let me see. I've answered this question before several times in the podcast, but I'll do it again since YouTube don't think I've said it. From the comic book, and I do love him a lot. I like Quinlan Voss too. Those are comic book characters, but I really like them. But let me see if I could stick to the books. Pelion, I really love. Dala, I think Dala is a wonderful villain, or just actually character and what they've done with her. Gosh, let me look back on my list here and see who else I like. Most of the people from Rogue Squadron, Michael Stackpole and Aaron Austin. I don't know. There's a few characters. I have to go back and look at that and see what I like. But Kit Duran's definitely my number 1. I always like Kit Duran. He just connected with me because he was like he's what the average person would be if they were a Jedi. I mean, you want to do good things, but you're going to get mad. You're going to throw someone against the wall, or you're going to want to, like during New Jedi Order, Kip Durham wants to just obliterate them all, wives, kids, everything. And I'm like, yeah, me too. Hey, does he walk the line? Yes, he does. But I think that's what a normal human being would do if they had Jedi power. So that's why I like Kip Durham so much. Let's see. All right, how about the Clone Wars short series by Jenny Tarkovsky? Think it's great. I'm going to review that on Matt's Expanded Universe when we get to it. But I do like the short. I think that was how the Clone Wars were done right, and I'll explain why in a future video. What EU book or series do you think is underrated? I would say New Jedi Order. A lot of people hated it. I loved it. I think it was great. Another underrated one, if I could pick it. You know what? Things like, if I could go to the Bantam era, Black Fate Crisis didn't get as much love as I loved it, I say. What else didn't get love? I mean, there's a lot of popular ones. You're meaning like semi-popular ones, I think, that should have gotten more love. I don't know, did Kenobi get a lot of love? Because that was a pretty good one. Trying to think of some of the other stuff I got. Some of the comic books, like I said, that the one I've been talking about recently is the Star Wars Online, not Star Wars, Star Wars Ongoing comic book, and that was actually really good. And you hear people talk about Knights of the Old Republic, and yes, Knights of the Old Republic was good. Tales of the Jedi, yes, Tales of the Jedi is amazing. But that ongoing comic book was better than people gave it credit for, I think. Stories like Ki-Adi-Mundi and Quinlan Voss are just fantastic. I mean, seriously, when they made the switch, first off, Ki-Adi-Mundi, like I told you, I was not interested in his story. And then after reading the first book, I was hooked. And then when they switched him out with Quinlan Voss, I said, who is this Joker? And then I love Quinlan Voss. I mean, they just gave us one great character after the next in that series. So that would be an underrated comic book series. And then maybe, I don't know, if you want to go kiddie book, Galaxy of Fear. John Whitman did a really great job with Galaxy of Fear. All right, other questions? What are my thoughts on the Jedi being corrupt, according to Dave Filoni? Well, I do think he is full of baloney on the Jedi being corrupt. Look, Dave Filoni, I know I poke fun at him, but he says stuff like this, which is why I poke so much fun at him. Like, who is he to say that? I mean, this whole thing someone told me about when interview with Rebels. He said, yeah, well, these stormtroopers are really stupid because they're not as smart as clone troopers because they're clone troopers are clones and these are real human beings and they're really stupid. And that's why stormtroopers and Rebels act like the Three Stooges. I disagree with that. I disagree with a lot of things he says. He's talking out of not his mouth. And when he talks about it, and I just do not like when he makes comments like that. So just ignore him. Just ignore him. All right, let's see. What non-EU authors would you like to see write for Star Wars? Legends, of course. Non-EU, you mean someone outside? That's a great question. Who would I like to see? You know what? I would love to see Brandon Sanderson. Right. Brandon Sanderson wrote a few stuff. Maybe most popular or most known to me is he finished the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. He seems like he has a good timing for action, for humor, and everything. So, yeah, I would say him. And J.K. Rowling. I'm totally kidding about J.K. Rowling. But no, I think Brandon Sanderson, I think that'd be a cool one, cool author that would write for it. Let's see. Have you read everything? And will you reread your EU stuff? Oh, great question, Elizabeth. Yes, I have read everything. And will I reread it? Yes, definitely. Definitely reread it. In fact, and I think I've said this before, but every time I talk to folks like yourselves and you tell me about what's the newest story you read, or the newest comic book, or the newest short, man, that just gets me to want to reread it right now. When I'm reviewing these, I want to stop and just sit there and just read it all the way through, all over again. And eventually I will reread it all. In fact, I mean, when I have kids, hey, these are bedtime stories for the next 30 years. Oh yeah, that's right. His old man's going to be reading him stories when he's 30 years old. But anyway, so yeah, I definitely will reread it. All right. One Bruce moved Kenobi. Sorry, just catching up on all the questions here. Oh, look out. The fans are pushing for new legends, are victorious. The Disney starts creating new expanding universe legend stories. Do you believe these stories will be higher quality than Aftermath? uh, actually, you know what? My 10-year-old nephew could write a better story and be better than Aftermath. From what I hear, it's a really awfully written book. Yes, someone actually emailed me about this and said, Matt, I don't want Legends to continue because look what Disney has done with their new canon. And yes, I agree, it's scary. But if it was to continue, I think if you put the proper people in place, that you wouldn't have this issue. And let me tell you what I mean. If we put Troy Denning in charge, or Leland Shee and Pablo Delgado, which, folks, I know some of you think they're traitors, but they do love the expanded universe. There is a love for that. So I think if you put one of them in charge and gave them the reins, they would pick the best authors possible. Definitely Troy Denning, I would say, would go in there. And then you build around some of the older authors, and then bring out new authors for Disney. And folks, there are probably some really good authors. They haven't found them yet, but they will. They will have some hits. The new books will eventually. Some people said Tarkin was pretty good, but and that may be the only one. But the thing is, I think eventually, how many times can you strike out, right? It can't get any worse than Wendig. And if he's listening here, I don't have Facebook, Wendig. Go ahead, stalk me. All right, let's go to the next question here. These are great questions. If Legends were to return, which series of comics books would you want to continue? That would be Dawn of the Jedi, probably. Dawn of the Jedi, because I think the storyline was about to get interesting, like I said, and I would love to see where it ended. I want to hear what happened to the Rakatan and, just basically how things came to be. I think that series was cut short, and it was really getting interesting. Like, each series was pulling me in a little bit more. The first series, not so much. The second loop, I was like, okay, all right. But then, of course, they had to cut it short, and that's one that I think I definitely carry over. And maybe we can fit in a Tales of the Jedi story, too, because I think Tales of the Jedi is awesome. Let's see. If I could make Star Wars 7, 8, and 9 while keeping the old continuity, what would it be about? Woohoo! It would take place a few years after Crucible. That way, I would make it to where it'd be generic, meaning Chewbacca's dead. Why? How? Well, you can read the books. We're just going to start off where he's dead, he's gone. You want to know about it, read the books. I don't want to lose a crowd by referencing the EU too much in it, but I will take those events and say, here's where they are now, and bring it on a totally different story. Perhaps with the Lost Sith. Maybe when you start with the opening scroll, there are Lost Sith out there, or a hidden tribe of Sith that Luke Skywalker is going after, and maybe just continue it from there. And then from there on out, kind of balance out the books and the movies, because we don't want to lose people who haven't been reading the books. So I would put a little bit of EU in there, but not enough to lose anyone. And I think that would be the best way to do things. And then from there on out, work out a plan. Maybe the books can solve the Abeloth string, if anyone was keeping up with the end. Abeloth storyline still out there. So maybe they could we could finish that off in the books in between 7, 8, and 9. But I think it would be dealing with that lost tribe of the Sith and then fighting it, and maybe chaos erupting, maybe a Hutt war, I think, which I think was inevitably going to happen, I think. If you just kind of look at all the stuff together, it looks like they were building up to that. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know anything, but it would probably deal with that. The Republic and the Hutts are on bad terms, like gangsters, and there's a big gang war, There's a gang war in space. That's what keeps the Republic busy. While they're breaking apart, you can have this Jedi breaking apart trying to fight the Sith. Maybe someone turns bad, or we'll definitely have Luke's kid in there. We would mention Mara Jade, maybe even have her make a cameo, because I do like Mara Jade, and I think she deserves a cameo. And at least that person can be in there, so then go, who's Mara Jade? And then they go back and read the books. But like I said, I wouldn't give too much EU content in there, because I don't want to lose people who haven't been reading it. But I would touch on that and move on in a fair manner that I think would be good. I think would make a lot of money. Or option B, and I kind of like this one better now that I think about it. I've mentioned this before. Just shooting it, 300 years in the future, past the legacy comic book storyline, and then doing, we can have an heir to Skywalker, or we can do anything we want. Just make it a new universe with maybe not even the Empire as the bad guys, but make it within the Star Wars universe. Make it look and feel like a Star Wars. Of course, it's going to have Jedi. Of course, it's going to have Sith, and of course, it's going to be awesome. But then after that, then you open up the doors for the authors to do whatever they want with the storyline, which is what I would love to see. I mean, yeah, I know we all want to see if Luke dies, if Han dies, how Leia ends and stuff. And it would be nice to see them on screen again, but folks, they're old. I kind of like seeing them young on the screen and old in the books. That's just me personally. Any of those options I'd be okay with. And like I said, if Disney would have just shot it up, 300 years in the future and just left the EU alone, I'd have been fine with that. I've been grabbing Mickey ears and watching episode 7 that takes place 300 years later. And that would truly be a reboot for Disney, right? They could start fresh again. I think that's just a great idea that they should have done. I don't even think it got considered. But anyway. All right. Let's look at all this. Indoctrinate the children. That's right. Let's see. Why is there so much anger between the people who want to continue Legends? It feels like every PO2 Prince of the Universe contest you're talking about A-words with conferences and secret handshakes. Andrew, it's just actually the last few Prince of the Universe podcasts I've talked about this, but they're not all bad. And I'm just saying that there's a short, or small, I should say, group of people who are like that. And I want them to stop. Overall, there is a ton of good people in the movement. A ton of good people in the movement. And I really appreciate everything they do. I think my buddy Tim is on here. Tim Moore, yeah, I saw him on here. He even has a website that is really working it. There's podcasts. There's people making video reviews. And folks, all that stuff I'm looking at, and all that stuff I'm loving. I love the ideas of the book buys. I love the ideas of the raids, as long as they're done respectfully. And I think there are a lot of people that are doing good. Now, I do hate infighting. I don't want that to happen. And I do realize that sometimes it's instigated by a third party. So I may speak on that at another time. But other than that, Andrew, I think it's a very short group of people who are like that. It's not everyone. Do I think that Boris Offee going evil stunt could have been executed better? Yeah, maybe not executed at all. I thought it was, if you look at it, it's just that whole storyline, if you remember, it just doesn't, I don't know what the thought process was with turning her evil. I know it's the worms, I know she had a hard time, or whatever it was. Anyway, it just wasn't good. And whoever thought of that was like, oh, this will be a nice twist. Someone should have caught that and said, no, don't do that. I thought it was terrible. How it should have been executed? Maybe it shouldn't have been written at all. I really didn't think it was that good of a story. And I know they're trying to go for the whole twist factor and everything, but I just don't agree with it. Favorite and least favorite aliens introduced in the EU? Gosh. Favorite, the Vong. I love the Vong, of course. Least favorite? Ooh. That's hard. Waru from Crystal Star, and mainly because he was never explained. He was never explained. What the heck is that all about? Let's see. Anyone listen to the new Empire Strikes Back? So bad. What's the new Empire Strikes Back? I haven't. So, why are they taking all the good stuff away? Sorry, just spinning. New Empire Strikes Back. Sorry, haven't. Oh, you mean the Blu-ray version? Is that what you mean? Anyway, Tim wants to know when another Minox Nest is happening again. Brother, it should happen soon. Minox Nest is another podcast I do every once in a while with my good friend Tim and Tristan and Daniel and, oh gosh, Jeremy and Dylan and whoever else is on there. It's a really fun podcast. Let's see. Hello, Andrew. Let's start a Kickstarter to get Matt's idea for episode 7. Yay! Let's start a Kickstarter, folks, to get a billboard put up in San Francisco. I'm being serious here. A billboard to put up in San Francisco telling, near the headquarters of Lucasfilm, because they are there in San Francisco, saying, "Hi, we want more Legends." I'm being serious about that. Someone, I don't know if anyone's in the San Francisco area, around that area, if please look and see how much billboards cost, and that way we can judge and see how much money we need. I'm being serious with this, folks. We start the Kickstarter now, and by the time it funds, the movie will already be out. Maybe it'll be on its way out of theaters, and then that's the time to post up that billboard and say, "Hey, we're still here. Give us more Legends. Don't forget about Legends, or let Legends live," or something. Something cool, some cool catchphrase. But definitely, I think we should do a Kickstarter for that. Let's see. Would you ever want to see stories from the pre-Dawn of the Jedi era, or would that be too far back? Dak, that would be way too far back. I always say that because and I think Dak knows this, but when Tales of the Jedi came out, I was like, "Oh, that's 4,000 years. That's too far back. Oh, that's too far back." And then Golden Age of the Sith came out another 1,000 years earlier. I was like, "Oh, that's too far back. That's terrible. It's too far back." And then Dawn of the Jedi came out. I was like, "Oh, that's way too far back. Oh, they couldn't go back." And every time I've enjoyed it, with the exception of Dawn of the Jedi, I think it could have been done better. And I think it was getting better. Unfortunately, it just didn't get to that point. But no, I would not want them to go forward again. In fact, if they did do new EU, they would just, in my opinion, they would waste it going back further than Dawn of the Jedi. Because to be honest, right now we don't have Jedi. We have Jedi or whatever, and then we have lightsabers yet. So that's about as early as I let them go. I do want to know when the heck we're going to see one of the jetpacks plugged into the lightsaber. That's what I wanted to see, but I guess they're not going to go with what's his name's paintings. Let's see. Oh, lots of questions here. All right. If you were a Jedi and Sith, which form of lightsaber combat would you use, and what color would my lightsaber be? Ooh. What form would I use? I guess I'd go with Obi-Wan as a 3, Form 3. But you know what? A Form 4 would probably be what I would do. And a Form 6, that's the acrobatic one, right, Yoda? That would be a lot of fun to do. But probably a 3. Probably a 3. Let's see here. Top 3 EU book series. We'll get to that when I'm doing my book reviews. I'm the best to speak on Star Wars EU. Thank you very much. Walru is cheating. No, it's not. He is a sentient being. If he's cheating, then I'm going to name the little skull monkey lizard thing from Marvel comic books. How's that for cheating? Actually, I think he's kind of cool. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Lots of questions. Sorry, trying to keep up with your questions. Keep scrolling up here. Billboard is a good idea. How would I rewrite the Jedi Prince books to make them good? What a great question. I secretly love the Jedi Prince books. You know what? Let me tackle that. Let me tackle that when I get to those books. That's a good question, and I need to think about that, buddy. That is a really good question. How would I make them? But to pick up for the Jedi Prince books, real quick, they are very kiddie. But remember, these were some of the first books that came out. I mean, I want to say within 6 months to a year of Timothy Zahn. They came out really early on, back when cheesy Marvel-like stories could be told. So I would definitely dumb down on the cheesiness, but I would keep the bulk of that story, not changing too much. Of course, you need to have an ending, and I did maybe write something about Jedi Prince in that book. That was my little story I wrote about, which I can talk about later. It's not considered, well, it is considered canon to me. All right, let's see. Great, these are great questions here. All right, let's see. Crystal Star was my first EU book. Why? That's incredible. I've never heard that before. You're still interested. Not that it's a bad. Well, I'll talk about Crystal Star when we get to it. But that is very interesting. I've never heard that. Someone said they start with Crystal Star. Uh, should be writing a paper. Looks like I'll be up later now. Sorry. Which Star Wars movie is my favorite? And why would I pick that pick? You know what? It's probably Episode 4 of Star Wars. I know a lot of people want to say, my gut, you want to say Empire. Empire is the coolest one. Empire is awesome. And I actually love all three, but I would say just the regular one because it meant so much to me as a kid growing up, and I loved I loved all three of them. In fact, I saw Return of the Jedi, or the original Return of the Jedi, 3 times in theaters. That's how old I am, boys and girls. I saw Empire once and Star Wars once, but I was a little child, like a little baby. But my mom said I kept my eyes open the entire time on the screen, so it was born, it was destined to be, I guess. Let's see. Is there any way that you will read the new books and see the new movies if Disney revives Legends? I'm sorry, Elizabeth, probably not. There's not hard feelings against Disney. I don't feel bad. I'm not angry at them. I am disappointed about them not continuing Legends. But to me, that would be alternate reality stuff. Like Infinities, like I said. That to me just would not be as interesting. And like I said, it's not a hateful thing. It's not a stubborn thing toward Disney or their new books or movies. Even though I hear their new books and comic books aren't that good. I probably wouldn't. Would I eventually see the movie? Maybe. I don't know. I just, right now, no. I just don't have any interest in that. I definitely wouldn't waste my time or money going to the theater on it. And that's not to say it's going to be a terrible movie. I'm sure it's going to make $1 billion. So I really do think it's going to be successful. It's just not for me. Let's see. Let's see. Least favorite, Star Wars zombies. Love zombies, but it was awful to add them to Star Wars. Oh, you're talking about Red Harvest, and yeah, that was a bad idea. The other one wasn't so bad. Death Troopers. I'll get to that one next year, maybe. Let's see. Dark Empire was one of the best. I guess comic books. Yes, it was a very good comic book. I'm not a fan of Infinity storylines. In fact, I've never read them. I've been told what they were. Thanks, Tim, for posting my articles. Tim posts my articles. Basically, I write an article every month. I gave another one to Tim. I don't know if he's going to post or not, but I did give him another one. But I usually post them. I give to Tim, and they're up on his website. And they're on the Facebook page. I think Prince of the Universe, Bruce wants to be posting them too. But either way, Tim's site's awesome. If a Star Wars new manager should listen to you and not Star Wars Live podcast. I don't think the SWU Live podcast even knows who I am, but yeah, they should sit down and learn them something, huh? Of course, the defender of you would choose the most offensive form of lightsaber combat. I would, Dak. That's true. Favorite Star Wars animal? Oh, animal like pet? Like a. Oh, what did I say on the podcast? I answered this one on the podcast. Bruce liked the Rancor, and I liked not a Tauntaun. What was it? Oh, I like the Gorax. I like the giant one from the Ewok movie. There's another Ewok movie thing. Does he count as an animal? If he doesn't, then maybe the little. Gosh, I don't know. I don't know what kind of animal. You don't think about much of those. A bantha would be cool. Walk around like a bantha, like a boss. Let's see. Matt needs 10,000 subs. Let's get it for him. Hey, at 10,000 subs, subscribers, who knows what's going to happen? I'll definitely level up then. Thank you. That's very kind of you. If they release 7, 8, and 9 were released in Legends Edition, where they keep all the EU, would you watch them? Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely watch those. You wanted to do more defend the EU movement. Did you want me to do them, or did you want to do them? You could do them. That's fine. Um, let's see. The reason why I don't do any more defense of the expanded universe is I know people love those, but folks, if I get repetitive, then what's the point? And that's really all I could do is get repetitive on a lot of things I say. Of course, if there is something that pops up or a subject that I think needs to be explained a little bit more detail, like when I did the hierarchy of canon and I did the building blocks one that a lot of people like. I just thought of a unique way to say something a little bit different than what I had. But if I just keep ranting about this and that, and I know a lot of you love that, and I love it too, but after a while it just gets repetitive. I don't want to be repetitive. But if there is a new topic, like the Chuck Wendig thing, I thought that was very improper what he did and what he said, and I felt something had to be said. So that's when I said it. So I do love making the videos, but I'm not going to make them over and over again if I'm just repeating myself. Let's see. What are my thoughts on the greatest character action ever, Jackson the Green Rabbit? Well, buddy, what are my thoughts on that? I love Jackson. I love Marvel. I love the old Marvel comic books, the old series. I think they're fantastic. I can't wait to talk about those because I don't think a lot of people know much about those books. They know they exist, but they don't know what is in there. And there's actually a lot of good stuff. In fact, for the longest, I wouldn't read it. I thought it was, I remember reading a few issues when I was a kid and loving it, but then when I got older and I was reading in advance, I thought, yeah, it's probably garbage now. And after reading it, it's actually pretty good stuff. So yeah, Jackson rocks, man. Have I read Bounty Hunter Wars? Yes. What I think about it? Wait for my review. I thought Bounty Hunter Wars was fine. Who is the one character you wish they hadn't have killed off? Y'all are bringing these questions. I agree with every death. I amen every death they made. I hate that they made those deaths, but and folks, it's going to be a spoiler here, I guess. Thank you, Dak, for asking a spoiler. Callistia's demise is probably the saddest for me, I would say. If people don't know, it's from Fate of the Jedi. You find out what happened to her. I thought that was really sad. I think it's always sad when the characters die, but I agree with that. Like Stackpole said, if you want to read safe books, go read Star Trek. And Star Wars is safe. I know a lot of people are upset when Mara Jade died. A lot of people are upset when Chewbacca died, when Anakin died. Spoilers, but when all these people died. But for me, that's how life works. You don't always get to have your favorites make it all the way through. Look at the X-Wing books. The X-Wing books were doing that with a lot of my favorites, too. In fact, the closest I ever came to, I did tear up a little bit, was Tom Fannin from the X-Wing books. This is a sad death, man. Anyway, though, maybe Callistia, but I'm happy with every death they made. I like death. I'm kidding. What are my thoughts on Dark Empire 1 and 2? I'll get to those when we get to the series. I do like them. I think they're awesome. Anything got to do with the Fallen Empire topics? A little unsure about what that means. Have you got the Star Wars Encyclopedia? Tells the Old Republic Encyclopedia book. No, I don't, but I hear it's fantastic. Maybe that's something I should add on my Christmas list. Let's see. W. Backins gives his favorites. Those are good favorites. Have I seen Droids, and what do you think? Not only have I seen Droids, I have them all. Maybe we found them on the internet. But yeah, the Droids series is actually a pretty good cartoon series. My little nephews, I'll pop it on for them every once in a while when they're there, and they'll sit and watch it too. And I think the oldest one's 10, the youngest one's 4, but they enjoy it. I love the little 80s music to it, and actually, if you notice, it has a lot of ties to future and, I guess, present EU stuff. So that's really interesting. And Episode 1 stuff, too, right? Moons of Bogdan are mentioned, pod racing on Malastare and stuff from the prequels, because George Lucas gave a lot of input, of course, on droids. And I do tend to include droids and the Ewoks cartoons just as a whole series, not episode for episode. No, I won't do episode to episode, but I'll just do it as a whole series. I do plan to talk about that on Matt's Expanded Universe. Those TV shows I'm definitely going to talk about. All right, let's see. Star Wars Invasion was one of his favorite comic books. Interesting, Invasion. Just how brutal and evil the Vong were. Such a shame it was canceled. Wow, I haven't heard anyone say Invasion's one of their favorites. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll talk about Invasions when I get to it way later on. But yeah, it was the only New Jedi Order comic book. One of the faults for it, just real quick, was that it came out so daggum late after the book series was over and done. I think that was the thing that hurt it, generally speaking. X-Wing books are awesome. Can't wait to do a review on those. Any new alien from Episode 7 do you like? I don't really know Episode 7 that well. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know any of the new aliens. I'm sorry. I don't keep up with anything Episode 7. Like I said, I saw the trailer once in theaters, and that was basically it. So, sorry. Let me see. Trying to get behind the Magic CD-ROMs. They look great, and they are great. They carried some old deleted footage, which I don't think you need that anymore, though. I think the Blu-ray has all the deleted scenes on that. For those behind the Magics, I have them, and they were fun. In fact, the time someone showed me behind the Magic, he said, "You like Star Wars?" I said, "Yeah." He went, "I got some deleted scenes I bet you've never seen." And I hear this all the time, like, whatever, dude. And so he brings me into his little room, and he pops that CD, and I was like, "What is this?" And he shows me deleted scenes. I went, "Where'd you get this?" He went, "It's just on the CD." And I went on eBay and bought a copy and watched those over and over and over again. I can't believe they put deleted scenes on something like Behind the Magic. But way before we had the Blu-rays, I'm talking, folks, oh gosh, help me out here, but that's probably 20 years ago? 15 to 20 years ago at least. I was a younger man back then. And I was just blown away. I was like, there's deleted footage here on these little Behind the Magic, and they're just tucked away. They're not even advertised that much. Like, deleted scenes from Star Wars. It doesn't say that. It's like Behind the Magic, behind Star Wars. And I thought, wow, that is very cool. So, yeah, Behind the Magic is good. It'll still play on computers. Will it still play? I haven't popped mine in quite a while. But I wonder if they still play on computers. Maybe they would. Let's see. If Disney brought Star Wars Underworld live-action TV show as the first Legends content, would you watch it? Oh, yeah, if it continues with Legends. I doubt they do a TV show. Honestly, I would prefer they just start off with books and comic books and short stories and stuff like that. I doubt they would do a TV show. If they did, yeah, that'd be great. But I'd be happy with just the books, comics, and whatnot, just regular stories and print. Let's see. Who is the one elusive author you do not have a signature from yet? That's going to be Troy Denning, obviously. Troy Denning is the author that I want to get his autograph on. Let's see. These are great questions. Darth Bane Rule of Two? Yeah, of course, loved it. What really happened to Darth Bane? According to Drew Karpyshyn, he is dead. Darth Zana, he did not possess Darth Zana at the end. I know it leaves you thinking, right, because her hand's trembling at the end. But according to Drew Karpyshyn, he was dead. Let's see. How would I handle people you encounter who ask you if you're excited for the new trilogy when you find out you're a Star Wars fan? You know what? At first, they're a little surprised and confused on why I don't want to. But then when I explain to them what the expanded universe meant to me and how that's my Star Wars, they tend to be very understanding about it. And I don't really hear much else from them. Now, the thing is, a lot of my friends, it's funny because they always want to go to the new Star Wars movie with me, or they did back with the prequels. And they're thinking, oh, he's still going to watch them again. So I wonder how many of my friends don't know that I'm not watching the new one. So we'll see how they handle that later on. But yeah, right now, everyone's been very understanding about it. Did I see The People versus George Lucas and what did I think about it? Yes, I did. I actually want to say I talked about this. Maybe it was on a podcast. I thought it was really good. That was a really good one. If it's still on Netflix, folks, check it out. People versus George Lucas. I heard he was going to make a updated sequel with that. Um, about him selling to Disney and what the fans were, but I guess it went dead because I haven't heard anything else about the project. But People versus George Lucas is a very good movie. I thought it was really well done. Do I play any expanded universe games? Any favorites? Personally, loves KOTOR and sci-fi or first. You know what, dude? I don't play the video games anymore. The ones I used to play, and someone asked me this. The ones I used to play were Rogue Squadron for the GameCube. That was the last one I think I played, which was fun. But Rogue Squadron for N64. That's probably my favorite one. I did like a lot of the old school games. I played a few of them. I did play KOTOR, but it was so. I mean, I played it like last year, or maybe it was earlier this year, and I didn't like it because it's now dated, and because I also don't get into much about video games anymore. I'm not into video games. I'm more into board games, obviously. But that does not mean it's a terrible game, by the way. So just before everyone hops on, oh, it's a great game. Yes, and I think it's a superb game that really represented the expanded universe. So, I mean, honestly, how many people in this chat room, maybe half or so, wouldn't be expanded universe fans if it wasn't for that game? Honestly, there are a lot of EU fans who got into the EU because of KOTOR, and for that reason, it is a phenomenal game. Very, very glad. I just wish I would have played it back in the day when it was hot, the graphics were up, and when I was more into gaming. Oh my gosh. Y'all blown up the questions here. Does Spirit live on through Apprentice, Darth Bane? No. Billboards cost. Whoa, Andrew, you're on it, man. A little 7 to 500. Give every subscriber $5. This is what we got. Okay. Well, hey. Will someone find out where Lucasfilm is, and we'll put one nearest to them. I'm totally for that. If I got to put together the Kickstarter for it, I will. If I got to call the billboard place to get an actual quote and everything, someone find me the number. I definitely will. I'm serious about that. Remembers Behind the Magic got his copies from LucasArts Archive Star Wars Collections. Love them. Yeah, they are great. Aftermath is not relevant to the Star Wars EU. Probably none of the Disney universe is relevant to the Star Wars EU. Did you hear that Grand Opera Thon was teased at the end of Aftermath? What do you think? No, I did not hear that. I think that's awful. Not because I hate Zahn, but I don't want him in the new universe because he won't be the Thrawn that we love. Oh yeah, maybe he'll love art, but he won't be the mastermind genius that Zahn wrote about, Heir to the Jedi, Heir to the Empire. You folks, yeah, remember. I mean, I know there's a big push to get him on Rebels and stuff, and get him in that series, and get Mara Jade in the new EU. But folks, instead of that, I would rather them tell us more Zahn stories in the old EU, or more Mara Jade stories in the old EU. I would not like that. If he teased it, oh well, if they're going to put him in, it won't be the same Thrawn that we know and love. I'll guarantee you that. Let's see. Have I seen the Revan fan film? Not yet. I should take the time to see that. I don't know if it's good or not, but I saw the trailer for it, so maybe I'll have to see it. I know I don't know what reviews it got, but maybe I need to see it. Do you believe the purpose of the Death Star was to combat bomb organic ships? Ooh, James, that is a good. And now maybe the EU would have made that connection. And they kind of did, if you remember, because they did talk about how, let's see, sorry, just trying to catch up on your questions here. What was I talking about? This is so bad for my ADD here. Let's see. Let me go back. Dadgummit. Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, they did mention that a lot of the super weapons could have been for the bomb, so I do think that's a possibility. Let's see. Lots of great questions here. Did you see the Guardian article? I'm a Star Wars fan, but won't be watching Force Awakens. No, Tim, give me a link to that. I'll definitely check it out. First one. Legacy of the Force fan film, I haven't seen either. I heard it was okay. They skipped a lot. I may watch it. Fan films to me kind of is hit or miss with fan films. Even when they're about the EU, I appreciate them doing it because it brings a spotlight on the EU. But I don't watch them as much as I should probably check this out. How would I compare George Lucas to Gene Roddenberry? That daggum blows me away. This is the final question. This is the final question. I'm gonna cut it out. Cut it off after this. Wow. Both visionaries. Gene Roddenberry uh, died at the right time, and that may be mean to say. And I do love Star Trek, but Star Trek, the motion picture, was his idea. It was poorly executed, and I think if he would have had control of the series, it wouldn't have been as good. I hate to say that because I think Gene was a visionary, and I do like the original series. But there's nothing better than The Wrath of Khan, which probably wouldn't have gotten made. It's more of an action film, which is not what he thought Star Trek was all about. And that's what Trekkies really appreciate. They think Trek is smarter or more intellectual than Star Wars. That's what they say. And maybe I like Star Wars more because it's all action. And but George, Visionary 2, George started off real good. And here's the thing about George. The reason the original trilogy was so good is he let other people take the reins. He didn't have a big head about himself. I mean, yeah, he knew he was the it director after Star Wars was a hit. Yes, he knew he bet big on Star Wars and won. And him merchandising a mega blockbuster film was probably the first one to ever do that, and he knew how things worked. But as time went on, he let things go to his head and all the praise, and he surrounded himself. If you see this from people that got let go, people who disagree with George got let go, people who were yes men for George got kept, and that was his downfall. Like the Emperor's New Clothes, no one wanted to embarrass George or talk bad about him or say that he had a bad idea. So when he's standing naked before them with his new threads of CGI for the prequels, everyone went, yes, George, it's awesome. And I'm talking about Rick McCullen as one of them. I hated that guy. One of the great things when Disney took over, Rick was cut. Well, not really. Rick left, but he knew there was no future for him there because they were going to cut him. He was just one of Lucas's lackeys, and that's what killed him. If he would have surrounded himself with people, you've got to surround yourself with people, with folks who don't always see eye to eye with you. The reason I have Bruce on Prince of the Universe is because I want someone with the opinion that Star Wars, Disney is a good thing, and that's Bruce. He really likes Star Wars, Disney stuff. Well, he likes it for the most part, and he's there to defend it, and he loves he wants to watch the new canon too, and he's for the EU too, but he likes the new canon as well. I want someone like that on the show. I don't want someone else who has the same ideas as me, and all we do is get into a hate fest over Disney's new Star Wars. I want to have a balanced one because that's what a lot of people in the EU are like. We're balanced, right? There's a lot of you that do like Disney stuff, or you're going to give it a try and you're going to watch episode 7. I think that's great. Me personally, I'm not, but I think there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to do that. But if I'm just to surround myself with people who just say, yes, man, you're the yes, man, you're awesome, yes, man, no. What good is that? I'll turn into George because then I think I can do no wrong and I look like an idiot in the process. Actually, originally my first choice for Prince of the Universe was someone who hates the expanded universe, just that he just couldn't do it with me. But I wanted someone, just the exact opposite of me, because I want to keep that balance in there, and I want to hear other people's opinions. That's why when I do the Matt's Expanded Universe stuff, and I kind of poop on a book, and then someone responds back, actually, Matt, I like that book. Good. I want to hear why, because I didn't. But no, give me your reasons why. And I do like it when I hear people say, no, actually, Matt, you know what? I actually thought that comic series was really good. Not just okay. I thought it was really good. It was one of my favorites. Good, great. Tell me why. I want to hear. I have no problem with that. There's authors that I love that a lot of people don't, and there's authors that I love or I hate that other people love. I said that right. And I'm fine with the difference of opinion. I actually encourage that, but I think that's what happened to Lucas. Gene Roddenberry is just a stubborn man. I don't know if he surrounded himself with yes man, but he was just stubborn. He wanted things his way, which Lucas was a little bit of a control freak too. But one of his biggest deals is he surrounded himself with yes men. I mean, you think about it, Irving Kishner just told George, "No, we're going to do it this way, George." And George went, "Okay." And he had came up with a good movie. Same thing with Cashin for Jedi. He just told George, "No, we're going to do it this way," and George was okay. George had a lot of input. He was there in the wings as a creative mind. He's great at that. Coming up with ideas, yes. Bring George in as an advisor. I think he should have written a script and let him do episode 1. Okay, give him that one. But originally, they should have kept with the plan. Episode 2 should have been directed by Ron Howard, one of his buddies, who originally this was the plan, or rumored as the plan. Ron Howard was going to do episode 2, and Steven Spielberg 3. Now, you say, well, I don't think Spielberg would have taken 3. He might have if George would have done it. Yeah, Spielberg would not usually take a big box office draw like that. Just like Star Wars. He wouldn't take any of the new Disney stuff right now. But if George Lucas was his friend, so he probably would have done it for George. And if that's the case, then you would have had some better movies, I think, because they would have said no to George. Now Spielberg maybe is not as much because obviously he did Indiana Jones 4, and he should have told Lucas no a few times, and he did. He did a little bit, but not as much as he should have because he still likes George. In fact, he and Ron Howard actually encouraged George to go ahead and direct all 3 movies, which I think was a huge mistake. But I think if you would have gotten strong directors in there that would have just told George no at the right times and kept the basic feel of the script, but changed up some of the yucky dialogue and rewrite it and actually have someone who directs it. This is what I've always said about George. He didn't direct very well, and Harrison Ford will tell you this. It's always faster, more intense. What does that mean? For an actor, and so you can't get your best out of your actors. In fact, look at the prequels. Look at Ewan McGregor. I love him in Big Fish. I think Big Fish is a fantastic film. I think Ewan McGregor is perfect in it. I've seen some other films with Ewan McGregor that I think are good. Hayden Christensen, folks, you can make fun of him all you want, but what was his Jumper? He wasn't that bad an actor. He isn't. Awake, he's not that bad of an actor. I think he's actually pretty good. Natalie Portman's won awards, but yet in the prequel, she looks like, a piece of cardboard just with a moving mouth. They don't have any feel. Liam Neeson is a fantastic actor, and yet he comes across kind of monotone and dead, even though I love Qui-Gon Jinn. But it could be a lot better if you put a good director in there. He didn't put so much daggum blue screen. You look at the behind-the-scenes features, you want to just shoot yourself in the head because there's so much blue screen. It just looks like garbage. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, Gene Roddenberry and George Lucas, both visionaries with great imagination, great creative thoughts, but both should have given the reins over to other people or should have had someone in there to tell them no. Someone should have told Gene Roddenberry, no, Gene, it's too long, or no, this isn't the characters, this isn't how they feel. You can read things like Leonard Nimoy's biography or William Shatner's biography. I have them. I think they're really good. But they talk about how they were just not happy about the motion picture. It just didn't seem to be them. But they were happy to be back into the movies. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you and say, Gene, this movie sucks. Oh, thanks for putting me in it too, because we haven't done anything in years. So I can understand that, but someone should have stood up to them, and they could have made a better movie. And they did make better movies later on. And then with George, is Episode 7 going to be a better movie without George Lucas? Yes and no. Yes, because they're not going to rely on so much CGI. And I'm sure the story's going to be written okay, but J.J. Abrams, I do not like writing stories because if you notice, all of his stories have terrible endings. He feels like he has to put a twist in there, and usually the twist is unnecessary or makes it stupid. Super 8. Hello. I love Super 8. Watch Super 8 and don't watch the last 10 minutes. Or 15. I don't know. That movie just had such a bad ending. But anyway, it's in a way where it would hurt. It doesn't have. It's going to miss that Lucas touch. You'll know what I'm saying when you watch Episode 7. You're going, wow, this is good. If you really like Episode 7 or the new Disney, you'll be like, yeah, this is good. But it felt felt a little different. I don't know. It's like when, someone makes your favorite dinner, but it's not the meatloaf your mama made, but it's a good meatloaf, but it's not the meatloaf your mama made. Got me? Star Wars 7 is going to be one of those movies where you're going to have people walking out going, that was good, but I don't know, I just miss the feel of those old movies. Yeah, it is, and that's George's creativity, I think. All right, folks, I've gone way too long than what I wanted to. I know not long enough for some of you, but way too long for me. Folks, this was a lot of fun. Let's do this again next month. I'll do it on a Saturday, maybe evening, and who knows, maybe it'll be a monthly thing. But thank you so much again for getting on here, asking tons of excellent, I'm talking excellent questions. You have me on my heels a little bit. I have to come prepared next time for some of these great questions. But that's what live Q&A is all about. And again, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your support. And I will see you next week with a video podcast where you're going to see the actual faces of Bruce from Prince of the Universe and Mikey and CJ from Saturday Morning Sandwich Plans. Folks, I can't wait for it, and I will see you then. Bye. Oh, wait, come on, Yum-Nub. Say bye. He says bye. Yum-Nub. Yeah. Bye, folks.